CTV News with Carlyle Fiset.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We begin tonight in Dorchester, where a train collided with a commercial truck earlier today. The truck spilled hundreds of liters of herbicide, while the driver suffered serious injuries. As Rita Ismail reports, if not for the train conductor's actions, the crash could have been fatal.
This was the scene Monday morning on Shale Lane in Dorchester after a triaxle truck carrying roughly 400 liters of herbicide was struck by a CN train at a rural crossing. Police say the truck driver suffered serious injuries but is expected to recover.
The good news out of this is that the driver of this truck is going home to their family. They did suffer some serious injuries, but non-life threatening, which is probably the best news I can report all day.
OPP say crashes involving trains often have tragic outcomes. Investigators credit the train conductor with taking action that may have prevented a far worse outcome.
The conductor did not suffer any injuries, and I'm glad to say that they're going to go home to their families as well. But more importantly, that conductor took some evasive action, and I have no doubt ultimately saved the life of the driver of this triaxle truck.
The collision also triggered an environmental response. Police say approximately 400 liters of herbicide spilled from the tank on the truck, prompting the Ministry of Environment to attend the scene. Investigators are still working to determine exactly what led to the crash at the stop sign controlled crossing.
If you're an operator of motor vehicles, especially coming up to, say, signals that aren't with arm bars dropping down, but you do have stop signs, please make sure you check twice. It's going to save a life. Even if you have to check 3, 4, 5 times before you proceed, make sure you do that.
Police say the investigation remains in its early stages and more information is expected as investigators continue to piece together what happened. Rita Ismail, CTV News.
London firefighters were on the scene of a fire at the Elias Street rail yard late this afternoon. A large column of smoke billowed above burning rail ties, which are coated with oil-based preservatives. Fire crews say they were on the scene within minutes, preventing the flames from spreading to nearby rail cars and businesses, and no injuries were reported. A trial began today for a local plastic surgeon charged with sexual assault. 65-year-old Robert Richards has pleaded not guilty over an incident from January 2023. The court has heard the woman involved in the case had an intimate relationship with Richards. She cannot be identified under a court order. The trial is expected to last a week. The inquest looking into the death of an Elgin Middlesex Detention Center inmate has entered its second week. Today, the jury heard evidence about the circumstances surrounding Drew Pearson's collapse before he was rushed to hospital. With more, here's Nick Paparella.
After being booked at London Police Headquarters and then making a court appearance at the London Courthouse on December 27th of 2018, 29-year-old Drew Pearson was taken to the Elgin Middlesex Detention Center. As he made his way off the inmate transport truck, Corrections Officer Rick Kennett was the one in charge of his admission. He said he told me he had sore ribs or broken ribs. Kennett said as Pearson was searched, he was clearly in pain. He couldn't pick up his boots. The inquest has heard that Pearson was homeless at the time and was facing arson charges in connection to a blaze at a St. Andrew Street boarding house. Earlier, the jury heard tape recordings from other corrections officers who interacted with Pearson after his admission to EMDC. Andy Prentice told investigators when he saw Pearson, he was moaning and crying, saying he turned gray right there in front of us. He became unresponsive. Before wrapping up, he said, "It upset me. I don't think there was anything we could have done." After being rushed to hospital, Pearson would be pronounced dead from sepsis. The inquest looking into his death resumes on Tuesday. Nick Paparella, CTV News.
Elsewhere, a trial against an 81-year-old man got underway today, accused in a rash of assault cases involving Muslim women. In September 2024, a man was reportedly yelling derogatory comments at someone wearing a hijab near Berkshire Drive and Berkshire Place. Within minutes, another woman got involved. At the time, police said the suspect pulled out a knife before leaving on foot. James Henkel has pleaded not guilty to 6 counts, which include assault with a weapon. The City of London and the local food bank have partnered for their annual food drive, launching the London Cares Curb Hunger campaign today. Brent Lale has more on the demand and the support.
We just ran the numbers for the first 3 months of this year versus the first 3 months of last year, and we're already up 11.2% in terms of Londoners coming to us.
The London Food Bank and the City of London are asking for your help. They are beginning their 30th year in partnership with the London Cares Curb Hunger Food Drive.
Poverty doesn't take a summer holiday, but while you and I are trying to figure out our summer plans and where we're going, people who come to the food bank oftentimes struggle. And they've got kids at home, it becomes a really difficult time.
The campaign runs for the next 2 weeks, and it's simple. Donate food or cash at the food bank, drop off items at grocery stores, or plant a row, grow a row in one of the community gardens.
I've seen people in every garden throughout the city either grow a row or sometimes even an entire plot of food to share with Londoners through the food bank. You can just plant a little bit extra, take that fresh produce to the food bank, and the food bank will be able to distribute it right away to Londoners who would like to try what you've grown.
It's neighbors helping neighbors.
And through this campaign alone, over 86,000 pounds of food was donated to the London Food Bank and got back into the hands of Londoners. Ultimately, is taking pressure off of a family or an individual who is struggling to make ends meet.
During the month of March, we had almost 6,000 families come to us, 17,000 individuals. About 9% of Londoners come to the food bank. So it's really important. Thank you so much for all the support. It's pretty amazing.
Brent Lale, CTV News.
Meanwhile, Canadian food bank officials released their latest poverty report card, grading Ontario as one of the worst provinces. The report found a quarter of Canadians are experiencing food insecurity. Overall, Ontario received a D- grade. The report says the province's poverty rate is above the national average at 12.5%, with the food insecurity rate at more than 25%. The Ontario government also received a failing grade for its legislative process. With gardening season well underway, there's a push at City Hall to make invasive plants more identifiable at local nurseries. As Daryl Newcomb reports, they're starting to appear in London's most sensitive ecosystems and could pose a growing problem.
It's not hard to find invasive species that have escaped backyard gardens and are now threatening London's environmentally significant areas.
Someone probably planted a small English ivy plant years ago, not realizing that it would spread under the fence and into the ESA behind their backyard. It's the same exact plant that I just picked up around the corner at a store that isn't labeled to warn the consumer this could cause environmental and property damage.
Dr. Brendan Samuels is a member of the Environmental Stewardship and Action Community Advisory Committee at City Hall.
Lesser periwinkle, or Vinca minor, another invasive introduced species.
It's recommending council consider requiring labels, signs, or point-of-sale handouts at nurseries to educate gardeners about which plants are invasive, and if they are purchased, that they should be contained in a pot.
The best way of preventing is by educating people so that we don't accidentally plant the wrong thing in the first place.
When an invasive species like goutweed gets established in an ESA, the damage can be total, as it easily outcompetes the native plants. Gardening just half a block from an ESA, Paula Martin believes point-of-sale information would be effective.
For people just like me, that I don't know a lot about it, so I could be educated.
London has 21 ESAs that are home to some rare and endangered species. Removing invasive species after they've become established has proven difficult, time-consuming, and costly.
Invasive species are present in all of our environmentally significant areas, and we do not currently have the resources to remove all of them.
Samuels says the advisory committee consulted with some local independent garden centers and agrees that banning certain plants would be difficult to enforce and could simply result in gardeners driving to neighboring municipalities.
The supply chains for these products are much larger than London, and I would rather not restrict people from acquiring these products that they want, but instead we need to make sure that they're informed about how those products should be used and how they should be disposed of to minimize the risks to the environment and the cost to taxpayers.
The advisory committee's recommendation will be considered at the next meeting of Council's Community and Protective Services Committee. Daryl Newcomb, CTV News.
A fundraising effort is underway in a small community near Woodstock to build a dog park. As Sean Irvin reports, a recent survey revealed just how common canine companions are in Embro.
As early as late summer, it might be a challenge for baseball sluggers to retrieve a home run ball in the community of Embro. That's because the area beyond the left field fence here is slated to go to the dogs. That's right, this space has been staked and sniffed out for a new dog park.
The township has been very kind to give us this land, so that has been a big start.
The plan to create a space for dogs to run freely has been in the works for about a year. The concept began as you might expect. Pet owners were tired of driving their pups out of town.
At this point, we've been taking them to various dog parks, Stratford, St. Mary's, Woodstock.
To prove the park was needed in such a small community, a survey of the pet population was required. The results? 220
dogs so far that live in the village alone.
And there's somewhere in the north of 400 houses, so it's almost a dog per every second house.
With the positive tally, a dog park committee began to raise the $30,000 needed. More than 1/3 of the cash is already in the bank, with the next fundraiser this weekend. This is not the first time Embro has come through with a community project, although this recently constructed splash pad was almost 10 times the price.
Best gift we could ever give the kids in town. They love it.
From kids to pups, right?
Yes, for sure.
And now that the dogs have an area to play just beyond the diamond, no doubt some pups will be waiting patiently to catch a home run shot. What's the odds of a fly ball coming over the fence there? And
it's possible, yeah.
The players are also welcome to try and get the ball back. Can people run too?
Oh, yes. Yeah. they can if they want. Be prepared to be chased, though. Yeah.
In Embro, Sean Irvin, CTV News.
A local family have been given a chance to reconnect with their history through an heirloom that sat untouched for decades. Lauren Stallone has more on the letter and its return almost a century after it was written.
More than 25 years ago, Michael Archer was renovating his former London home when he found something unexpected.
We'd just taken out the last closet that hadn't been renovated yet with the old lath and plaster and ripping it apart. And when the dust settled, I looked down and there was a yellow letter laying in the rubble.
The letter dating back to August 13th, 1929, written by a man named Charles Slater.
He worked on the lake freighters, and he was stuck up in Port Arthur or Fort William, which is now Thunder Bay, and he just was writing to his father and saying, I don't know when we're coming home because there's no grain coming out of the west.
Unable to track down any surviving relatives of the Slater family at the time, Archer and his wife, Christina, decided to hold on to the heirloom for safekeeping.
I had this letter stored and protected away for like 25 years.
But just last week, they decided to give it another try.
I guess it just occurred to me to try media to see if I can find the descendants.
I was scrolling Facebook and specifically London, Ontario Facebook group, and I happened to see the homeowners posting about finding a treasure trove, a time capsule in a closet that they were renovating a few years ago. I knew I could help.
Genealogist Marissa Cooper began conducting extensive research where she was able to get a hold of the Power family.
Charles Slater had 3 full siblings, 4 step siblings, and 1 half sibling, a young woman by the name of Audrey Slater, who married into the Powers family.
I am married to Aaron Powers, and it's his grandmother's half-brother that wrote the letter to his father back in 1929.
The Archers say they were relieved to finally return the letter to its rightful owners.
They were very appreciative.
We were really surprised. He was like, oh my goodness, it's the long-lost uncle we've always waited for. We met Christina on Sunday, and she's been absolutely lovely. She painted us a beautiful picture that's got documentation from all the different parts of the story.
Now, Charles's family says they're looking forward to learning more about their uncle and the life he lived almost a century ago.
It actually includes a book that he recommended to his father called All is Quiet on the Western Front by a German. He married and he never had any children, but he did quite well for himself.
Charles Slater passed away in 1984. Lauren Stallone, CTV News.
4 cities across our region hosted annual walks for Alzheimer's research this weekend. Organizers say they brought in nearly $300,000.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, let's walk.
This is important for us because we at Alzheimer's Society Southwest Partners, we really want to support all of our people living with dementia and our care partners that are navigating the journey of dementia and Alzheimer's in our communities. We are so delighted to be able to bring those funds and support our community. We have 15,000 people in our London, St. Thomas, Tillsonburg, and Woodstock areas that have some form of dementia, and we need to support them with all the programs and services that we offer, and the fundraising here just helps us make that even better.
You know, it warms your heart a little bit. I've understood that some people are pretty competitive here. It's gotten competitive on the donation side, which is great for the Alzheimer's Society, but in a friendly way. The numbers this year are going to knock it out of the park, so we're really proud of everyone that's gotten involved.
Still ahead, trending in the wrong direction, Canadian nicotine use rising after years of steady decline. Stocks sank today as the price of oil climbed higher. In Toronto, the TSX lost 34 points. In New York, the Dow gained 46. The Nasdaq added 114. The Canadian dollar down 1/5 of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold fell more than $86 an ounce. Oil gained almost $5 a barrel. Canada Post workers have voted overwhelmingly in favor of a new 5-year contract ending more than 2 years of labor unrest. Union leaders representing about 55,000 employees say more than 85% backed the deal, which includes wage increases of 6.5% in the first year and 3% in the second. Workers had taken job action multiple times during the lengthy dispute. The Canada Post CEO says he's pleased with the outcome, calling it a step toward restoring stability and confidence in the postal system. In Ottawa, the federal Conservatives are painting the country's current economic outlook as a liberal recession. Data from last week indicates Canada has entered a technical recession, but economists are downplaying the significance of consecutive GDP drops. With more, here's Abigail Beeman.
My work is done. Mark Carney tried his hand at a home building site, but didn't weigh in on a recession. Statistics Canada reported Friday Canada's economy contracted slightly for 2 straight quarters. The Prime Minister has not yet taken questions from journalists nor opposition.
This is an emergency in the lives of people who have empty fridges, empty stomachs, and empty bank accounts. And they expect the Prime Minister, who promised that he was a great economic genius, to get in here and explain how he managed to be the only leader in the G7 to cause a recession.
The opposition leader's request for an emergency debate was denied by the Speaker of the House for not meeting the requirements, while other ministers were left to answer in question period.
Canada is the most integrated country in the world with the United States. They have declared a trade war on us. This side of the House understands that. We will control what we can control.
The Leader of the Opposition should stop running down Canada and join us.
It's the Liberal Prime Minister that's running down our economy and then running away from accountability for it. Where is he anyway?
With other Liberals asked, not all on the same page in terms of messaging.
I do know that people in my riding are hurting. So I listen to people talk about housing prices. I listen to people talking about food prices and about incomes that are too low. And so that's what we're working on here.
All indications are that it's shallow and that we're coming out of it. I believe them.
I think we need to be careful not to put too much weight in any one indicator.
The Bank of Canada also downplaying recession talk Monday.
Simply the fact that you have to put the term technical in front of it sort of tells you that you need to really look past that one indicator.
Carolyn Rogers says the Bank of Canada will take all the latest data into account as it meets later this week to discuss the next interest rate announcement set for June 10th. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Good evening. Clear and comfortable overnight. We remain under the influence of high pressure. Looking good for your Tuesday morning. Sunshine and temperatures warming between 10 and 15 degrees. Winds light out of the northeast. Thanks, Liz, for this photo taken in Port Elgin. Stay with us. Your local weather details are coming up right after the break.
Welcome back on the desk with Julie now at the start of another week that's looking pretty similar to last week in terms of the conditions and the fact that they're just not really changing all that much day to day.
Yeah, we continue to see this omega block in the upper atmosphere. Now, it will slowly start to break down as we head through the week. And what we will see is a shift in this block. So as it slowly starts to shift eastward, and it actually will evolve into a Rex block, which is a bit different. But in terms of our weather forecast and what that means for us, is we have, yes, much of the same in the coming days, but you will notice a warming trend this week. So that'll be different. The humidity will be creeping back in. Now, we've been under that beautiful northerly flow. That continues for us. So we have that nice fresh breeze out there tonight. The wind's fairly light, but as we head into tomorrow, the wind's continuing out of the northeast into the afternoon out of the north. So high pressure in the upper atmosphere, high pressure at the surface, and lots of stability in our forecast. So beautiful conditions. Now, on the flip side of that, you can see the rainfall and some even snow in the mountainous areas in Western Canada. Temperatures have been extremely hot, and weather warnings, heat warnings have been in effect in through parts of central and southern Saskatchewan. As we head to Atlantic Canada, we still have some little bit of rainfall on the coast, and we've had some showers across parts of southern Quebec. But in between, the entire Great Lakes have seen beautiful weather, and that continues. As we head into the day tomorrow, sunshine, more sunshine, and that will be with us until Friday. Now, the weekend, we're going to shift, and we have the chance for some showers. Not great timing, but by then we definitely will need some rain. The probability on the lower end, no big weather system coming in, but it looks like a front will finally push through and bring in the opportunity for a little bit of light rainfall, I know, which will be great news for gardeners and perhaps some farmers out there. 7 to 8 degrees overnight, still cool and comfortable. I'm sure many of you have been keeping the windows open during the day and at night. This is a beautiful time of year, but I did mention some warming temperatures. So Thursday into Friday, expecting lots of sunshine, but the humidity starts to creep in, so it'll start to feel like the low 30s. So your forecast for your Tuesday, 25 degrees, winds light in the morning and out of the north in the afternoon, keeping that nice breeze and keeping us fresh. Wednesday, sunshine and 27. So humidity starts to creep in. By Thursday, you'll definitely notice the change, and you'll notice the heat. So of course, June officially is meteorological summer, and we've shifted gears into some summer-like temperatures. Beautiful as we head into Friday, a mix of sun and cloud and 27. Now, the chance for showers over the weekend, 40%, daytime highs 25 to 26, and Monday a mix of sun and cloud. Midwestern Ontario still quite cool along that lakeshore of Huron this time of year, especially with that northerly flow. Many people commenting heading to the cottage, of course, definitely a bit chillier right at the lake, but lots of sunshine. This is tricky weather as well. You have to make sure you have your sunscreen on because you feel cool with that breeze, but the sunshine and those sun angles extremely strong this time of year. Very high UV. Wednesday, Thursday, sunshine heating up, a mix of sun and cloud on Friday, opportunity for showers in Midwestern Ontario on Saturday, but back into a mix of sun and cloud on a Sunday. So summer-like conditions across the area, warming temperatures this week, and the humidity makes a comeback by Thursday. Carlyle, back to you.
Thanks, Julie. New research shows Canadian nicotine use is rising. That's reversing a trend pushed by Health Canada, trying to get tobacco use under 5% by 2035. However, as Pauline Chan reports, there are more ways than ever to get a nicotine hit.
Imperial Tobacco launched the first nicotine pouch in Canada in 2023. They used lifestyle advertising with happy young people in a social setting or in association with athletics, just like cigarette lifestyle advertising of the past.
So now, while tobacco use is declining, the Canadian Cancer Society says nicotine use is once again on the rise, especially in young people.
The overall trends in nicotine use are very discouraging. Among high school students in grade 12, Canada-wide, 27% are vaping. That is stunningly high.
They're asking health officials to set an additional target of under 5% nicotine use by 2045.
Part of the concern is that vaping products and nicotine pouches have become gateways to nicotine addiction. And once you're addicted, you might be addicted for life. You might be switching later to smoking or other tobacco products or to vaping.
Vaping is particularly high among teens and young adults. For nicotine pouches, it's people in their 20s.
As of 2022, we have 730,000 Canadians who vape who have never smoked. That's undoubtedly higher today.
The message is aimed at federal and provincial health authorities.
Across the country, we should have minimum age 21 for tobacco and e-cigarettes, as PEI has done. There should be a ban on promotional incentives and price promotions, as Nunavut has done. smoke-free outdoor places in all provinces, a ban on online sales, higher tobacco taxes, fewer retail locations, and a national ban on flavors in e-cigarettes.
The Canadian Cancer Society says tobacco kills about 46,000 Canadians a year and is a leading preventable cause of cancer, stroke, heart disease, and more. Pauline Chan, CTV News, Toronto.
CTV News London has a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local headlines. By signing up, you'll get local news content from CTV London direct to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewslondon.ca. 2 Londoners have earned a prestigious commendation for their work building a memorial site dedicated to fallen soldiers lost at sea. Barry Murphy and Rob Campus each have been awarded the Minister of Veterans Affairs commendation for their work on the Battle of the Atlantic Memorial at HMCS Prevost. It was officially unveiled last year, featuring more than 1,900 names inscribed.
3-4 generations after the fact, and we have parents pointing out to their 12-year-old children individual names saying this was your grandfather.
Overwhelmed by the nomination and the acceptance of the award.
The award recipients each received a plaque as well as a commemorative lapel pin. The finishing touches have been applied in Woodstock on a new sculpture in honor of that city's most famous artist. The creators say the installation was inspired by the 100th anniversary of the death of Florence Carlyle. It's now the centerpiece of a park named after her. The sculpture has been put together over the course of a couple months, completed with this final piece this weekend.
Behind it, her nickname when she was growing up was Bird. So that's what kind of struck the chord that sparked the whole sculpture from a concept.
It's meant to be interacted with. As you can see when you come and visit, there's going to be honeysuckles growing from the ground, and it's kind of almost going to feel like it came of the earth. So it's just really special to engage with. It's meant to be touched. It's meant to kind of sit inside, contemplate, look up at the beautiful bird that's in there. So it's very special.
This is the second installation now in place in the park's sculpture garden. And that's it for us. Thanks for watching. For all of us at CTV News London, I'm Carlyle Fiset. Have a good night.